Executive Brief. Executive Brief.
My good people of Abia State, it is my honor and pleasure to address
From the seat of governance in Abia, God's own state, comes a compendium of the governor's weekly engagement in the service to humanity and God.
This government is in its second and final tenure, and therefore we are in a hurry to gain traction and achieve what our mandate the people have given to us and defined for us as assignment.
Join the Chief Press Secretary to Abia State Governor Onyebuchi Ememanka on Flow 94.9 FM as he tracks Governor Ikpeazu's activities in delivering on the social contract with the good people of Abia State.
We have received awards and acknowledgement as the SME capital of Nigeria in recent times.
Executive Brief.
Every Friday at 9:30 a.m.
on Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own state. Executive Brief from the horse's mouth.
There is now a deliberate effort to ensure that our infrastructure is solid and durable.
The governor of Abia State, Okezie Victor Ikpeazu, has resumed work officially. Well, upon resumption, he made a special broadcast to the people of Abia State yesterday. He also ascended to a revised 2020 budget of 102,660,432,904 naira. This is the Executive Brief, a program that brings to you a compilation of the governor's weekly engagement, courtesy of the office of the Chief Press Secretary to the governor of Abia State. My name is Temple Bara, and you're tuned in to Flow 94.9 FM Umuahia with a simulcast on Real 99.1 FM Aba. Well, you can watch a live feed of today's edition on the Facebook account of Barrister Onyebuchi Ememanka, who is the Chief Press Secretary to the Executive Governor of Abia State. And yes, he's here in the studio with me. A very good morning to you, Barrister Onyebuchi Ememanka.
Good morning, Temple Bara. It's great to be here. As you can see, I am bouncing. I am in high spirits. I am floating. I am full of thanksgiving to God Almighty. Last week, when we had this program, I did inform you that all was set for the return of Governor Okezie Ikpeazu, and lo and behold, he's here.
Of course he is. Well, let's start off with his return. About 2 days ago, you reported that Governor Okezie Victor Ikpeazu visited Seventh-day Adventist Church Umuobiakwa for a short Thanksgiving service, and that came as a surprise to a lot of people. There was no scheduled visit, no planned itinerary. He just arrived at the church.
Yeah, the governor wanted to give the people of Abia State a pleasant surprise. I got to know about it very at the nick of time, and I was lucky to be one of those who got to know. And true to his style, as soon as he arrived from isolation, he went straight. In fact, the first greeting he had with his wife was inside the church auditorium right there at Umuobiakwa, to present himself before the God Almighty, by whose grace, by whose benevolence, by whose mercies he survived the attack of COVID-19. He presented himself before God. Governor Ikpeazu recognizes at all times that it is the God who made heaven and earth that is the author and finisher of his life. He recognizes that very clearly, and by going to show himself before the temple of God, not your own temple, but temple of God, he told the line of the prophets of old, who will always go to show themselves to God and to express his appreciation.
Well, yesterday at about 7 p.m. there was a simulcast of a special broadcast by the Abia State Governor Victor Okezie Ikpeazu, PhD. Now, I want us to look at some of the high points of that special broadcast. First and foremost, he talked about ongoing projects. He mentioned quite a few of them and reiterated that these projects will continue. Specifically, I'd like to mention this Ubakala Road, which we've talked about on this program prior to this time, and its completion. But is there a set timeline for the completion of this project?
Now, what is important is that there is a commitment to complete it. If you are familiar with contractual procedures, you know that the fluctuations in the economy, unpredictable weather occasioned by climate change, make it a little bit difficult to predict when certain road construction contracts will end. We are in the middle of the rainy season now, and naturally it slows down construction.
Okay.
So it is difficult to predict with certainty when some contracts will end. Let me give you an example.
Please do.
COVID-19, as at December last year, nobody knew anything about COVID-19. Nobody had heard anything about COVID-19. COVID-19 had completely, changed everything, including contracts, and this has affected importation of a lot of things into the country. So, assuming there was a commitment by any government to complete a project, say do the last stages between January, February, and March, and April, which we have as our dry season window, and you needed to bring in some things from abroad, COVID-19 shut down the entire globe, and lo and behold, nothing could be done. So it is difficult to predict with certainty when a road contract will end.
Okay.
Variations, contractors bring variations on account of fluctuations in cost, fluctuations in prices of construction materials. But what is important here, like the governor did say in his broadcast, is that there is a clear and determined conclusion plan. There is a commitment to complete these projects. And knowing my boss, when he says he will do things, God willing, he does them. So what is important to our people is that this project will be completed.
All right, let's talk about COVID-19, because you touched that. In his speech, he said the global community is in agreement that life cannot end because of this pandemic. And quote, this is why after the initial global lockdown, life is gradually returning to normal. Further down, here in Abia, we're responding to the global and national trend. We have allowed our people to resume economic activities. Religious activities have also resumed, but our major concern is the health and safety of our children. And I want to narrow that to school resumption.
Yes, he did say that. I think you missed that before he talked about the safety.
As relates to the reopening of schools.
Absolutely. If you check, you find out that the federal government is still tinkering with the possible resumption date. At a point, they even said there wasn't going to be a WAEC this year. As we speak, a clear decision has not been made by the federal government.
Okay.
Not because the government wants to keep people at home. Those of us who are parents, who have little children, we know what we go through every day in the hands of our kids. But it is better that these kids stay at home than go to school and get infected and possibly die. So what the governor meant there was to assure Abians that while the government is desirous of opening schools and allowing our children to go back to school, the overriding consideration here is the safety and the health of these children. So we will look at the situation on a daily basis, on a regular basis, and monitor very closely for schools resumption.
All right, he stated in that broadcast as well that he's confident by December 2020 that Abia State would have its first ever traffic interchange.
Yes. He said we will be close. We will be close. I need you to look at that speech very well. He said we will be close to commissioning.
Okay.
What that means is that by December 2020,
would almost be ready to commission.
Absolutely. Almost.
Okay, so you want to emphasize that it's not December.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm quoting my boss. He said we will be almost ready to commission our first traffic interchange. What that means is that for the governor to speak with certainty like that, what it means is that work has gone very far and is visible to the eyes. Like I said last week, the terminology center table has disappeared from our political lexicon.
I personally took a trip to Aba a few last week specifically. I saw that there's been an extension, but one would have thought that there could have been alternative arrangement for people to around traffic underneath the flyover.
Well, that will disturb the workers.
Okay.
This is a major construction project. Safety considerations, you cannot allow movement like that because they are moving things using I don't know what they call it, crane to lift heavy concrete structures up there. There could be accidents. So even people who, out of their own stubbornness, hang around there to sell things, we have been telling them to go away from those places. So I'm sure you saw that the shape of that structure has changed. It does not look like a center table again. It now looks like a flyover. Okay. Like the governor said, what is left, the most critical part of that project that is left now, is the mega sand filling of the risers.
Okay.
Once that is done, the flyover is as good as done. The most difficult components of that job have long been concluded. You don't do mega sand filling during the rainy season.
Okay.
This is commonsensical. So, like my boss said yesterday, all is set, God willing, for the commissioning towards the end of the year and possibly early next year. The first ever, I emphasize that, first ever traffic interchange in Abia State. And you know, whether anybody likes it or not, whether it takes us all the years in the world to build it or not, history, posterity will record Okezie Ikpeazu as the first governor ever
in Abia State
to conceive, to visualize and construct a traffic interchange. It is a record nobody can take away from him, unfortunately for our detractors.
Well, let's take a trip, back to that broadcast, and of course the scripts are right here before me. COVID-19 has exposed a lot of things, and yes, our health sector needs a bit of beefing up, as noted by the governor in his speech, who was very, very emphatic when he said he's committed to delivery of an ultra-modern hospital in Abia with a state-of-the-art diagnostic facilities, surgery, organ transplant capabilities, with the potential to reverse medical tourism.
Yes.
Well, he said there's going to be at least 2 well-equipped general hospitals in each of the 3 senatorial zones.
Absolutely. People... I was monitoring some comments on social media, and people like to read meanings, unnecessary meanings. The governor never said he's going to build any new hospital.
Oh, really?
If you look at that speech very well, he never made an emphatic statement that he was going to construct a new hospital. I don't know if you can read that. You can read that line again.
Well, similarly, all the 3 senatorial zones.
Before then.
Okay, as part of our signpost for COVID-19,
yes,
this administration is committed to the delivery of an ultra-modern hospital in Abia with a state-of-the-art diagnostic facilities.
Hold it there.
Okay,
that statement does not suggest the construction of a brand new hospital.
So what
I think, and this is personal to me, my boss wants to do, is to embark on a massive upgrade
of what is available.
Who knows? Maybe the teaching hospital, I don't know, but I'm just guessing. The teaching hospital in Aba would undergo a massive upgrade.
As a way now, do we have a state-owned hospital in Abia North?
Of course, there are general hospitals. There is one in Arochukwu. There is in Abreba, I think. There is a general hospital in Abreba. Yes. There is a general hospital at Umunna in Bende. There is no senatorial zone in Abia State that does not have at least 2 or 3 general hospitals. So the implication of that other statement there is that at least it could be more. At least 2 general hospitals will be massively upgraded in terms of equipment, in terms of personnel, and all that. So what it means is that
we shouldn't be expecting the construction of putting up of a new structure.
I don't think that is what the governor meant. He said that at least 2 general hospitals will. He didn't say construct.
So the language here, the lingua here is delivery.
Yes, when you upgrade and open, you have delivered.
Okay.
Like I'm delivering now.
Yes, you are. Of course, it's the executive brief on Flow 94.9 FM with a simulcast on Real 99.1 FM Aba. You can also watch visuals, live feeds of this on the Facebook page of Barrister Onyebuchi Ememanka, who's the Chief Press Secretary to the Abia State Governor, the Executive Governor of Abia State. Well, we'll take a quick trip right now to yesterday's activities of the governor, where a revised budget was assented. 102,660,432,904 naira.
Yes.
As compared to what was previously presented.
Yes, that was around 135 or 36 billion. That was the initial budget, but we need not waste too much time on why there was a need for a revision. COVID-19 struck the very foundations of the global economy. Nigeria, unfortunately, is a country that the economy runs on sale and ban of crude oil. At a point, like the governor noted yesterday when he was speaking to the assembly members, the 136 billion naira initial budget was predicated on crude oil benchmark price of about $60 per barrel. Now, at the height of COVID-19, at a point, the price of crude oil plummeted. There was a major downward spiral up to about $19, $18, $15 per barrel. So, ordinarily, there is a need for a revision. Of course, because of COVID-19, you know that at some point, everywhere was shut down. And that shutdown meant that internally generated revenue was going to take a hit. At a point, all our markets were shut down. Where are you going to get IGR from? Our schools were shut down. Our higher institutions were shut down. How our higher institutions operate is that government gives them regular monthly subventions, and whatever they get from school fees, they combine it and run their.
If I may interject at this point and bring it home just a little bit, some Abians may be, wondering how will this affect them. Their fear is that the issues of salaries might not be paid as at when due. Do you think this should be a matter of concern?
The reality of the situation is that, like the governor rightly pointed out yesterday in his speech, off-the-cuff speech to the members of the House of Assembly, the global economy and the Nigerian economy are in dire financial straits.
Okay,
it is clear. Everybody knows that. So things will not be the same again. What it calls for is not for, well, it could call for concern, but it shouldn't call for panic. What it calls for is deeper thinking. Leadership, people who occupy leadership positions should get more innovative in their thought processes and think outside the box, like the governor said yesterday, and fashion out ways and means of getting out of this conundrum, financial conundrum, as it were. So far, the government has kept its obligation to workers. So far, salaries have been paid. Going forward, I believe that the governor will sustain that tempo, and with the increased emphasis in agriculture, I believe that will also help us cushion the effect of the downward economic spiral occasioned by COVID-19. So Abians could be concerned, but do not panic. The governor and his team are working, round the clock. Now he's back. Ever since he came back, he's been taking briefings from top officials of government, trying to catch up. He's not been around, trying to catch up with what has been happening, and issuing necessary instructions, issuing necessary directives, doing things for himself. And at this point, it is important for me to tell our people that in line with what the governor told the members of the House yesterday, he said his doctors, that for those who are used to visiting him in the wee hours of the night, if they knock this time and he doesn't open the door, please, they shouldn't get offended. It is doctor's prescription. If you see him, you offer your hand for him to shake and he doesn't shake, and he raises his hand, doctor's prescription. If you are used to the governor hugging you and he sees you and he waves at you, doctor's prescription. The point is this: COVID-19 is still with us, and we must take precautions. And as governor and leader of the state, he has a responsibility to lead the way and show our people the way. Ever since my boss came back, I've not had the opportunity of shaking him, and each time I want to shake him, I remember COVID-19 and I just raise my two hands.
You've been captured a lot of times on media.
Oh yes,
your hands raised in the air.
Absolutely. So let that be a message to our people. This is not a time for solidarity visits. People have called me, several groups, political groups have called me. They want to come and receive the governor. No, there's no need for that. COVID-19 is still very much around, so people should sit in their houses and pray for the governor. No need for visits. The situation right now is that you do not even have access to see him. Those who need to see him will see him. So nobody should worry. The governor is around now, as you know. When there is need for our people to see the governor, they will see him like they saw him yesterday during the broadcast. So people shouldn't bother to come to bother the man. So
okay,
yes.
Well, last week there was a development. I think during the week, I beg your pardon, where there was a statement and of course a press briefing on the MSME National Merit Award, where two Abians, Miss Prosper Irem and Mr. Clement Ojenta, won awards. The Commissioner for SME Development, Mr. Onyema Wachuku, was that briefing, as well as Chine Nwogo, who's a special advisor to the governor on job creation. And I'd want you to brief us a little bit in your own words, probably in the next minute or two, what this translates to for Abia State government.
The award is those awards are yet another testimony of the vision, of the sagacity, of the commitment of Governor Ikpeazu to the promotion of small and medium enterprises in Abia State. It is beyond dispute that as at today in Nigeria, Ikpeazu PhD is the #1 governor when it comes to the promotion of local enterprise. Now, this award is in its third phase. In the very first phase, 2 years ago, Abia State won the best overall state award for MSME promotion. Okay. State award. Last year, one of our daughters, Nora Onwasanya, won another award as the best female small and medium enterprise owner. She won a brand new car. This year, 2 persons, Prosper Irem, the lady shoemaker, and Mr. Ojenta, a fashion designer. Okay. Now, one interesting thing to note here is that the 2 ladies who won this award, both for last year and this year, were part of the team that the governor sent to China.
Oh, really?
So, yes, Nora Wasanya and Prosper Irem went to China. Part of the people governor sent to China. So when we were talking about going to China, people did not understand what a lot of people didn't see what the governor saw when he did that. Today, Prosper Irem, a girl who decided to go into shoemaking, has become an instant celebrity. She has gone practically all over the world. She has gone to China, she has gone to Egypt, she has met people that you and I have never met.
So speaking to the mic,
the point is this: those awards are a reward to the vision of Governor Ikpeazu. It's as simple as that. Okay. And it's a clear testimony. It's also a message of inspiration to all other SME operators that the little thing you are doing in your own small corner will one day be recognized. And this is an award that was organized by the federal government, an APC run federal government. And for them to have given this award consistently to Abia State shows that there is something we are doing correctly here, which they simply cannot afford to ignore.
All right, so at this point in time, you might say it's imperative that people begin to consider starting off their own personal or going concerns, or undertaking entrepreneurial ventures.
Oh, sure. What the governor has done in Abia State is to create a platform and provide a template for supporting small and medium scale business owners. Yes, a lot of innovations, a lot of incentives. In Abia, we have a one-stop shop. If you want to register a business in Abia today, you do that in 2 days. Now, a few days ago, the governor, like we said here last week, directed the leadership of the Abia State Board of Internal Revenue to roll out what I call a compendium of tax holidays, tax waivers, tax incentives, occasioned by the stress of the COVID-19. There are difficulties here and there. So the governor has approved tax waivers for categories of people. This is aimed at stimulating the economy. This is aimed at providing some cushioning to our business people. This is aimed at providing relief for people who are in business, because what Ikpeazu intends to do in Abia State, or the legacy he intends to leave, is a legacy of a private sector run economy in Abia. While government is there to provide the leadership and provide the private sector will oil the economy. The activities of the private sector we oil the economy. So whether you want to start with a trade of 50 naira, remember we have the Abian bank, the a small, what was the name of that our bank now at Ungwa Road, that gives loans.
Okay.
You know, it's like a community bank. You know that
was commissioned.
Yes, Abian Microfinance Bank in Aba, that provides soft loans to small business owners, loans with little or no interest rate. These are aimed, so anybody who wants to go into business now has nothing to complain.
Okay.
Ikpeazu has, by his own personal example, become your marketer. He has become your marketer. So if you do something nice, he will market it. If you do a good shirt for him, he will wear it and tell the world that it is you that made it.
Well, this is the much we can take on the program. It's been very, very exhilarating. We've been able to look at some of the activities of the governor. Hopefully, because of want of time, I'll just ask you in one sentence to tell me how busy the governor will be next week.
The governor is always very busy. Very, very, very busy. Like I did say, he's taking briefs now from briefings from top government officials.
Okay.
He has met with deputy governor, secretary to government, chief of staff. He will meet with another set of people today. So that was why I told you that, look, when you were pushing me weeks back, when is he coming back? I told you that once he comes back, work starts. So he needs to get enough rest. And looking at him, he's looking very athletic, very fit, very happy, and ready to go.
This is the much we can take because we're about to go this morning. Special thanks to the office of the Chief Press Secretary who has made it possible for this program to reach you via Flow 94.9 FM and of course Real 99.1 FM Aba. Special thanks to the producer of this program, Mr. Samson Eze. I'd like to urge you to leave your dial locked on Flow 94.9. Hopefully next week, by the special grace of God, we'll also have Barrister Onyebuchi Ememanka, Chief Press Secretary to the Executive Governor of Abia State, Okeze Victor Ikpeazu, on the program, The Executive Brief, at 9:30 a.m. to bring us up to speed with the activities of the governor. My name is Temple Barra. Until I come your way, bye for now and happy weekend. Don't forget, stay safe.
Executive Brief. Executive Brief.
My good people of Abia State, it is my honor and pleasure to address
From the seat of governance in Abia, God's own state, comes a compendium of the governor's weekly engagement in the service to humanity and God.
This government is in its second and final tenure, and therefore we are in a hurry to gain traction and achieve what our mandate people have given to us and defined for us as assignment.
Join the Chief Press Secretary to Abia State Governor Onyebuchi Ememanka on Flow 94.9 FM as he tracks Governor Okeze Ikpeazu's activities in delivering on the social contract with the good people of Abia State.
We have received awards and acknowledgement as the SME capital of Nigeria in recent times.
Executive Brief.
Every Friday at 9:30 a.m.
on Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own state. Executive Brief from the horse's mouth.
There is now a deliberate effort to ensure that our infrastructure is solid and durable.